Greetings and welcome to the latest episode of Preserve the 80s. I realize that I'm wearing the same shirt tonight as I was 4 years ago in my Unsung Heroes of the American Convenience Store video. I don't know if it's going to reach the level of Michael Siebert shirt, but I guess I wear it fairly often. Today's video is focused on the D'Angelo sub chain. It's I don't know how many states it's in. I don't know if it's some that's mainly up north or if the whole country has it, but it's a grinder sub hero chain, whatever term you use, in the vein of a Subway or Quiznos or Jimmy John's and so forth. I haven't been, up until tonight, I haven't gone to one since probably 1997. I remember in the 90s they were not very good. They had the flavor of a chain that seemed to use just packaged Oscar Mayer meats with wishbone salad dressing and just uninspired bread. But they seem to have a revamped and invigorated menu these days, so I figure I'll give it a try. And this is the bag, and in typical Preserve the 80s styles, going to read backwards, because for whatever reason that's how my phone always captures things. I got a toasted Italian sub, which has, I believe, Genoa salami, capicola, mortadella, and some other meats on there. And I also got steak bomb sub, which has, well, pretty much all that stuff that's in the Italian plus shaved steak, which is this one right here. It has onions and peppers. I think there's some mushrooms in there. Actually, I have to get one of my medications. Forgot to take that earlier. This isn't drugs, it's just something I have to take when I eat. Have a mug root beer with me. I saw a YouTube video recently ranking the, I believe, 12 root beers best to worst, and they put mug at the bottom, which I think is a shame. It's a good root beer. It's in no way inferior to Barq's. Has a good flavor to it. They were saying in the video that it was too sweet and that the sugar was all you taste, but that just really isn't true. There's a lot more flavor going on in there. It does have 71 grams of sugar, which I guess is probably on the high side for a 20-ounce root beer, but it still has a rich flavor to it. I can taste a lot of subtleties and so forth. I also like the dog that they use for their logo, for their mascot. Need to change the position of the camera because the food is not really visible. Cannot find my tripod. I'm just like all those other big name, big money channels out there, only without the technology and talent. Let's see. How will I get everything in this picture? Guess that's about as good as I'm going to get it. And here we have the toasted Italian. We don't have any Quiznos locations in this state anymore, except for one, which is in Orange, but I don't like to eat there because it's right next to a convalescent one, and that makes it less appetizing for me. But I'm hoping this can measure up to the toasted subs at Quiznos, because Subway is not doing it for me at all. As you can see, they're pretty stingy with their meats. Here's where it ends. Here's where the roll ends. And I guess I could unfold the meat and have more even distribution of flavor within the sandwich. I tried. So also onions, lettuce, tomatoes. There were supposed to be peppers, but I don't see any. Same goes for pickles and olives, but let's give it a try. Well, I have never eaten anything containing both mortadella and capicola that tasted so bland. Tasted so bland. And these napkins are something else. They're, I guess they're pretty sturdy. Well, I just ripped one then, but they can stand up to some punishment. They feel almost like one of those canvas sheets that you'd put over a snowblower in the winter. Let's try the steak bomb. This one's much better. As you can see, they didn't skimp on the meat at all. Still have that chest cold hanging on to me. But they give you a pretty good amount of meat there. And taste isn't amazing, but it's not bad. It's, I put it a couple notches above the steak subs that you get at Subway. Root beer is probably my favorite soda. It's, after Mr. Pibb, is my favorite. It's also the preferred drink of Feature Man, which makes me like it all the more. I miss brands like Hires and Ramblin'. They still exist. Well, Hires has existed all along, but it's just very hard to get in this part of the country. And Ramblin' ceased to be sometime in the 90s, and they brought it back in limited supply. I ordered some in 2016, tried it out, and it was not quite what I remembered it, but maybe I'll order it again and see if they've cleaned up their act, and that could be a topic for another video. I also can't seem to locate my wedding band. I had it on last night, but could not find it this morning. I fear that it may have fallen off the nightstand and fallen victim to our, it's called a Nito. It's sort of like a Roomba, just a different name. My wife likes to call it Alfred. I think that was the name of the butler in Richie Rich. bread is pretty run of the mill. It's very featureless, to be honest. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just there. Kind of like the spleen. It's there. It serves its purpose, but it's not a shout it from the spleen is not a shout it from the rooftops kind of organ. And this isn't shout it from the rooftops kind of bread. It's it's an average Joe lunch pail. Puts in its work, I guess. Cashes its check. Does what it's supposed to do. Let's try this Italian one again. Their Italian subs really have not improved a great deal since the 90s. They're better than they were. At least they're better than what I remember. It's been about 25 years. But still nothing to write home about. We still haven't covered the desserts yet. I got a chocolate chip cookie and a brownie. Brownie says Cross Country Cookie. I guess that's the name of the company that makes it. I finally reached that age where I can't read up close too well anymore. I would read the ingredients list, but I can't, so I won't. Maybe with better lighting it would be possible. Oh, it's a chocolate chip brownie, if you can see that on top. It's kind of exciting, I guess. Smells okay. It tastes pretty good. I'm not crazy about the texture of it. It's more like chocolate cake than a brownie. As chocolate cake, it's not bad. If they had put Cookie Junction or no, Cookie Cross Country Cookie, if they called it Cross Country Cookie chocolate cake, I'd be a bit more enthused. But as it is, I'll take it. I do plan to finish it. The chocolate chip cookie is of the same brand. Has 0.1 micrograms of vitamin D. I didn't do so well in my latest round of blood work, and my vitamin D is at, they said 14% of where it should be. So maybe this will, to a very, very tiny extent, improve my health. C minus, bordering on a D plus, but getting a C minus by the skin of its teeth. I give it like a 69.57. Round that up to a 70 for a C minus. A bit dry, a bit sandy. It's kind of like a big Chips Ahoy. I'm not a huge fan of Chips Ahoy, but one could do worse. It isn't the worst cookie I ever had. It's not even in the bottom 20. So, I mean, it's not something that I would complain about at length. I just wouldn't travel cross country for it, despite it being a cross country cookie. Looking at my sub a bit more, the Italian one, I think they fixed it a little bit different way than what the menu said it would be. There are definitely no peppers in here and no olives. And if there's capicola, I'm not tasting it. I can see the salami, I can see some ham. Let's see some mortadella. It looks like they didn't come across on the promise of capicola. Well, in closing, I would say that despite a different menu and different logo and different look to their restaurants and bags and some oddly textured napkins, D'Angelo really hasn't come as far as one would have hoped since the 90s. I would say that it's jockeyed a bit ahead of Subway. It was worse than Subway in 1997, but Subway has declined since those days, whereas D'Angelo stayed about the same, maybe become marginally better. So it's better than Subway, not as good as Quiznos, not as good as Firehouse subs, not as good as Blimpies or Port of subs. I'd put it on par with maybe Jimmy John's, about that level. Well, that is really all there is to say. So I will wish you a tolerable new year. I'm not going to raise your expectations by saying Happy New Year because, well, let's just be realistic. But I wish you a tolerable new year. Hopefully, it can squeak up to better than average for you. And with that, I will do something other than make a video. Farewell.